chaos ensued by the dissolution of the House of Representatives is bound to give way to intense debate in the upcoming days, even as the Prime Minister has been charged of making unwarranted remarks on the House dissolution that might affect the verdict of Supreme Court. A joint statement issued by 4 former Chief Justices on Friday has also given rise to heightened public debate. Good morning, I'm Sarah Chitrakar and these are the headlines of the hour. The Premier's remarks on a case under consideration at court continues, reiterates the House will not be reinstated, calls the joint release by former CJs as intimidation. Nepali Congress divides over the House dissolution. NC Chief Deuba says there is no alternative to midterm elections. Portal faction emphasizes the House should be reinstated. Commercial banks witness improved loan transactions as economic activities gather momentum. Banks still face a liquidity surplus of 230 billion rupees. And Manchester United along with Arsenal and Leicester move into the FA Cup 4th round. Watford, Newcastle and Stoke crash out. KP Sharma Oli has alleged the 4 former Chief Justices of trying to intimidate the Supreme Court. Addressing a gathering of party cadres, the Prime Minister said that the 4 former Chief Justices, by issuing a joint press release opposing the government move, have tried to mislead the Supreme Court. Premier Oli added that even as the case is being heard by the Constitutional Bench, attempts have been underway to announce the verdict from the streets. The Premier also termed the arguments lodged at the Constitutional Bench as prejudice. Meanwhile, addressing the gathering, Prime Minister Oli defended his move, reiterating that the dissolved lower house would not be reinstated at any cost. It may be noted that the Prime Minister, in his every public address since the dissolution of the House, has been emphasizing that the House would not be reinstated. A clear rift has developed in the main opposition Nepali Congress regarding the dissolution of the House of Representatives. Congress President Sharma Deuba has opined that it is unjustified to stage street protests to mount pressure on the Supreme Court, while senior leader Ramchandra Paudel has said that there is no alternative to the reinstatement of the lower house. We have more in this report. Nepali Congress President Sharma Deuba has urged his cadres to gear up for the upcoming midterm elections. Addressing a protest meet held at capital's Pudanilkantha, Congress Chief Sharma Deuba said that there was no alternative to going for election if the Supreme Court upheld the government decision of House dissolution. The main opposition chief further clarified that since the case was under consideration at the Supreme Court, no one should impose undue pressure on the apex court to bring the verdict to one's liking. Leader Deuba also added that if the timely elections were not held, Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli should be overthrown with the help of massive agitation. Nepali Congress has organized protest programs in 330 provincial constituencies across the country against the dissolution of the House of Representatives. Meanwhile, many other Nepali Congress leaders addressing the countrywide gatherings have opined that there is no alternative to reinstating the lower house. Leader Prakash Man Singh, condemning the government move, said that the dissolved House of Representatives should be reinstated at any cost. A Central Committee meeting of Nepali Congress held on 3rd of January last week had decided to call for the protest programs in provincial constituencies on 9th of January, at the local levels on 16th and ward levels on 21st of January. The demand for loan release that had declined amid the pandemic and lockdown has significantly increased since mid-November last year. This has increased investment in businesses, industries and shares among other sectors. However, there is a liquidity surplus of 230 billion rupees at commercial banks in the country. There was an increase in deposit amount in comparison to loan release until the end of October last year. With a minimal loan demand amid the corona crisis, The scenario improved considerably from mid-November as loan amount of around 2.4 billion rupees was issued on a daily basis. The loan amount further increased from December last month as 2.71 billion rupees of loan is being released on a daily basis these days. The commercial banks since December have piped out 163 billion rupees of loan amount. The market analysts have said that the loan amount has been invested mainly in housing, businesses and share market. The economic activities have picked up as a general life moved towards normalcy in the last few months. The business environment has significantly hampered during the time of the lockdown as the businesses have now started to pump in more investment into their businesses. However, the banks are still facing a liquidity surplus of 230 billion rupees as they have been collecting 2.4 billion rupees of deposit amount on a daily basis. In our Public Voice segment, we had asked people in Parvat why have temporary hospitals set up for COVID-19 not been removed from community colleges and schools. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
स्कुलहरुमा त अब एउटा एक खालको लापरवाही नै हो यो
ती अध्यक्षहरु मेयरहरुले पनि कुनै पहल गरेर यसलाई हटाउनै सकेका छैनन् त अनि कसरी हुन्छ यो सरकारको नियमै लुज भएको कि यो
अझ पनि के सरकारले चाहिँ प्रदान गरेको आश्वासन बराबरको रकम प्राप्त हुन्छ कि भन्ने आशाले चाहिँ क्वारेन्टाइनहरु यो सरकारी स्कुलहरुबाट सामुदायिक विद्या क्याम्पसहरुबाट नहटाइएको अवस्था छ।
राजनीतिक रूपमा चाहिँ जो सरकारको नजिक छ त्यसले पैसा पायो हटायो, जो नजिक छैन त्यसले पैसा पाएन हटाएन।
सरकारले आफ्नो स्वार्थमा बिको भएन, सबै जनताको कुरा सुनेन, आफ्नो मान्छेहरुको मात्रै कुरा सुनो। त्यही भएर अब कलेजहरु आफ्नो स्वार्थका पैसा पाउनेहरुलाई छोडाओ, नपाउनेका लापरवाही भयो, कतिका बच्चाहरुले पढ्न पाएका छैनन्।
सरकारको गैर जिम्मेवारीपना हो कि जस्तो लागिरहेको छ।
It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. Here's the question: what could be the reason for the Bagmati River remaining polluted despite the ongoing cleaning campaign for the past 8 years? Your options are A. Leeway to guilty party, B. non-cooperation from people, and C. incompetent government bodies. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Good day.